How's it going, everyone? This is Kajmatic, your host, bringing you a brand new figure review. Today we're looking at the MonsterArts Godzilla Evolved from Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire 2024 figure. Let's see if it's worth adding into your collection and if it's really worth any hate. First things first, this is a wonderful sculpt. This was done by Yuji Sakai, and although it's not, I would say, 100% accurate to the CGI files, it's not surprising as this is MonsterArts. It is damn near close, and I think this sculpt is absolutely amazing. I love the detail. I love all the ridges. I love how sharp the dorsal plates are and how everything on the tail looks. It is wonderful. The tail things that have an actual name, I can't remember what it is. It sounds like an electronic, but it's not. Those are so cool. I love them. I love the detail. I love how sharp they are. I just love the color of pink they chose. These are translucent. I'll show that here in a little bit. The head sculpt's also really nice. It's not quite as small as the normal 2024. Looks good. I love the eyebrows and like the spikes that go down. The chest. Love his little forearm spike things. Those are cool. Chest detail, pretty typical legendary Godzilla. Gotta love it. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I just had to move it. The legs, thin legs, tall legs. He's got long, thin legs here. Nice feet, pretty good. Sculpt's great. The paint is definitely a little all over the place a little bit. The camera actually shows things that's hidden in person. So like right here, you can see all this kind of like this like forest green or brown that's not really there when you don't have this under lights and you don't have it on a camera. Same thing with the face. It looks really like white, like on the lips and like up on the nostrils and stuff, but you can't really see that unless you have a ton of lights on him or you have it on camera. So it's interesting to see that this figure is getting hate, but then when you see it in person, it doesn't actually look as bad as it might look through the camera on a social media post, kind of like -1. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's up to you. For me, it's kind of in the middle because it's like, well, when I take photos or take videos like now, it kind of looks a little rough. But then when I'm just sitting here at home playing with it, which I can tell you guys I've been playing with this damn thing, it doesn't look that bad. So it's kind of like, it's really weird. It's in the middle. I'm kind of cross in the middle. I do like it though. Overall, I do like this. There are a few things, you know, the teeth are actually painted really nice, the mouth, and the eyes aren't terrible on mine. There are a few out there that have been reported being pretty bad, but I would say I got pretty lucky with mine being pretty consistent at least. The toe paint is a little weird. I will admit that was something right out of the box. I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. But, you know, it's just the toes. The dorsal plates, the ones that are all painted down here aren't terrible looking. This middle one kind of is missing a lot of its pink, but that's okay. It doesn't bother me too much. A little bit of unevenness here, like where the skin's supposed to be breaking into the dorsal plate there. You know, that one's a little bit better, that one's not. And then the translucent ones, it's kind of there, it's kind of not. So it's going to be all up to your guys' personal opinion. I'm not going to be on here to sway you guys to tell you, oh, it's actually really good or, oh, it's actually terrible, like most people will with MonsterArts. I'll let you guys, whether you're getting it or not, be the end-all be-all decision makers. But I think for what's here, I think this is really nice. I personally really love it, especially these dorsal plates. These are nice. Here, how about I grab a light real quick and we'll look at the translucency. How about that? So like I said, these are translucent. You can kind of tell by the way it shines on the outside. Oop, I hit the camera. There you go. See it right there. All translucent pieces up until about right there, and then the rest of them aren't. But these main dorsal plates are on the back. And like I said, I think they look very, very nice. I love how sharp and jagged they are. It's just really ferocious. All right, so articulation, we actually kind of have a lot to talk about. Now, the head sculpt for the articulation is nice, going side to side. And looking down, he looks quite far down, but they went backwards and they made it to where he can't look up. And that's so disappointing. He looks up enough, but he should just be able to look up. All they had to do was just carve out the edges here. So this spike would be here, and there'd be like a little U shape, and same with here and here. So then it could just fold back into each other. It just kind of feels like it's not moving all the way back, which is frustrating. And then the jaw is also rubber. So the jaw not only can't really open too wide, it doesn't stay open because this is all rubber. I don't know why they went backwards with this SOB. But that is disappointing. It doesn't bother me quite as much as I thought it would, you know, having to play with it for a week, but it's definitely a downside. Yes, it's recoverable because they did do the Haya technique. Yes, it's the Haya thing. I'll admit it. I might not like Haya, but I'll admit it. And they got some really good angles with very few gaps. Like, that's incredible. But is it worth it to be able not to look up or open the jaw almost at all? I don't know. The arms, though, they fixed the arms finally. The arms can go crazy. They can't go out too far. You kind of have to like turn them and then use the bicep swivel to kind of give it that like that final charge up pose in the movie, but that's pretty cool. The elbows aren't great. They're not bad, but they're not great. Mine might just be tight. This one's got more range than this one. This one just kind of just doesn't want to move a lot. So, and then the wrists are on ball pegs, so they, you know, they do the ball peg things. They're tight on the relaxed hands, and then on the aggressive hands, they're actually kind of loose. So, the upper chest actually is pretty free range, but the bottom basically doesn't move at all. It is tight. I don't even want to touch it. And that's, you know, after a week of play, it mainly just has the side to side. And it's not like it's that much. So they went kind of backwards, kind of forwards. The legs are nice. They can't really go far back. Kind of get stuck right here on the tail. You can kind of adjust the tail to let them go a little bit more back, but definitely not as much as past ones, but they go forward. And they got this protective sleeve here, so it kind of guards it all. The legs can go out pretty far. Not crazy, but pretty good. Not really a thigh swivel in there. And then you've got a pretty good knee joint. You do have to kind of finagle it to get it to go 90, but it does go 90. And then the ankles are some of the best ankles we've ever gotten. These things can go flat, man. Almost can go flat, and they can go really far forward. So you can get him in some super dynamic kaiju posings with those angles. And then they got really good rocker too, outwards and inwards. So that's pretty cool. The tail, pretty typically super articulated, not loose. It shakes, but it's not loose. Can go up. There's a few loose pieces. The tip of my tail is very loose, but it's got joints all the way up till the end. This just needs a little bit of nail polish, and it's probably fine, you know. Yeah. Go basically all the way around. That's good. That is good. The articulation is good. I don't want to say it's amazingly perfect, but like when you can get Dragon Ball poses with this guy, you know, you got to give it respect, even if it's a little bit frustrating, I will say. I'm a fan, but I'm not also a fan of them moving backwards like they did. I just, not for the part everyone begs for, but when they actually come with accessories, everyone complains about. Well, like I said, the accessories, and this Godzilla is pretty typical. He only comes with a set of hands, no flame effect, which I think is fine with this one. If they want to make a new version, they can, whatever. These are pretty simple, just ball joints. You just gotta pop them off. I'll say just front and forward. This left one is pretty loose on mine. once they get these new hands on there, they like to, this one likes to pop off at least. This one's a pain in the butt. See, that one took a little bit of struggle. And then getting the hands on are definitely kind of a pain in the butt. They're tight, or at least the right one is, not the left one. So yeah, even bumping the camera, messing up the angle and stuff, but you get it. After this review, I probably will never put these relaxed ones back on. I'm just, you know, I like these nice out splayed hands, especially with Evolved, with everything he can do. So yeah, look at those, looking ferocious and unstoppable, just the way I like it. And of course, we're going to compare it next to the Godzilla 2024 that was released for this line, the reissue. And I gotta say, they look really nice next to each other. It is a little surprising that this guy isn't a bit taller than him. Movie and stat-wise, he does grow a bit, you know, a handful of meters, like 5 or 6 meters, maybe even 10 meters. But figure-wise, they're about the same size. He does definitely look larger, even though this guy is chunkier. And of course, this new mold kind of shows and tells the age and the wear of this one. But it's definitely a set I don't regret having both. That's what I'll leave it at, is I like having both of these, okay? I do like having both 2024 Godzillas, and even though they're probably going to mess it up major time, I kind of do hope that they do an energized color variant, but hopefully they give it a new mold, and then we can just call it even. Right, Tamashi? Please? Now, of course, the comparison y'all are probably have been waiting for me to make is the -1 versus Evolved Godzilla. I've got to say, you know, for two entirely new Godzilla molds, two new Godzilla incarnations, both are awesome. I just like -1 last year. I haven't really put Evolved down. I've basically been playing with Evolved since I've gotten him, and that hasn't really stopped me from playing with -1 either. So honestly, I don't like one more than the other. I think these are a great pair, and if you're a MonsterArts collector and you want to have both, I completely recommend it, especially because it does sound like the -1 Godzilla is getting a reissue soon, let alone the Heat Ray version that comes out at the end of the month during Tamashii Nation's event. So they're both awesome. Of course, it would be a sin for me while bringing out MonsterArts comparisons not to bring out at least one SH MonsterArts Shin Godzilla, and I gotta say, these two look awesome next to each other. Two of my favorite colors and two of my favorite incarnations of the Big G right next to each other in their most climactic, chaotic forms. And while we're at it, let's just add a few more Japanese Godzilla MonsterArts figures here with the Godzilla 91 and Godzilla 71 in, because why not? Let's celebrate the Big G for his big 70th anniversary. And because Mondo hasn't released their Evolved Godzilla or their 2024 Kong yet, here's just a quick Safubi comparison with a blue glitter Marusan 350 Godzilla 64, which, by the way, just unboxed yesterday. It's so good. Is it worth it? Well, for me, yes. I absolutely love this figure, and that's kind of what my reviews have been lately. It's not the most critical, unbiased look at these figures. I do try to remove some bias, but at the end of the day, when I'm making these videos, I'm not really thinking about, oh, well, should everyone else buy it? It's more just like, well, I spent this amount of money on it. Is it worth it for me? And I'm just letting you guys know. And yes, the answer is 100% yes. I don't regret the money I spent on this. I don't regret paying a little bit more for it than Japanese retail or even English retail to get this. I like it a lot. And that's about it. If you want to sit here and bring up Haya to me, I'm just going to ignore you this time. I don't care. I buy these figures for my own enjoyment. And if you guys don't enjoy the figure, that's cool. That's fine. Whatever, you know, buy Haya if you like Haya, buy MonsterArts if you like MonsterArts. Now, if you're coming in here and you still want to know, well, you know, I look at this review to make a bias or, you know, a judgment on myself. Do I think it's worth the $150? If you're not a big Evolved Godzilla fan or MonsterArts fan, I would say just go for the Haya, or wait for the 2.0 Haya that's eventually going to come out. Probably before the actual 1.0 is released, they'll have better articulation or look better. I would say go for that, you know. Don't have to go crazy, you know. But if you like MonsterArts and you want to articulate and evolve Godzilla right now, this is basically your only really big option for high articulation. And I do think it's worth it. Just go on by, you know, go on Yahoo Japan, look at Japanese import sites or Mandarake, import one. You're probably going to be spending less than the US retail, even if you import one right now, than you will if you just wait for the US release, which, like I said, it could come out at the end of this month. It could be December, it could be January. Import releases kind of get a little funky here in the last few months because of the holidays. So if you want it now, buy it. It's only going to get more expensive. This will 100% be one of the more expensive releases down the line. And the great thing about this figure is if you buy it, you don't get any extra Kong pieces. So if this is your one 2024 MonsterArts figure, you don't have to feel inclined to buy the rest, and you won't have extra pieces for other figures laying around. It's just this guy, just the 2 sets of hands, which is basically all it needs. And yes, it will get a heat ray version eventually. We all know it, and I'm okay with that. So that's about it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Pretty good to be back. Hopefully we'll post more soon. If not, I'll see you guys when I see you. Take care.